If you ever felt your mood crash because your latest post didn't get enough likes, then this video is for you. Let's be honest, how often have you scrolled through social media, seeing people's perfect lives, and that felt pang of insecurity? The truth is, the immense pressure to gain likes, comments, or approval often leads to feelings of inadequacy. What would your life look like if you woke up one day and completely stopped seeking approval from others? Life gets so much easier when you stop looking for validation from others and start giving it to yourself. You'll feel lighter, less stressed, and way more confident. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to let go of these pressures and experience real freedom by competing with only yourself, not others. But first, let's dive into the real issue at hand. The problem. Social media and societal expectations have turned validation into a constant 24/7 chase. Do you know anyone who is so hooked into platforms like Instagram and TikTok? These platforms are designed so that every like, comment, or follower feels like a hit of approval. But that boost is temporary, and before you know it, you're craving more. Studies show that the more time we spend on these platforms, the more we tie our self-worth to numbers like shares and comments. It gets harder and harder to feel good about ourselves without external approval. This can completely shatter personal confidence and mental health. It leads to anxiety, stress, and low self-esteem because your worth is tied to external opinions. External opinions are never constant. They are always fluctuating. So, what can we do about it? Well, first, you need to see social media for what it really is, an illusion. Number 1, recognize the illusion of social media validation. Ever played a game you just can't beat? That's exactly what chasing validation online feels like. In fact, a 2023 study with 1,649 adults from Norway, the UK, the USA, and Australia found that more time spent on social media led to higher levels of loneliness. Social media is built on showcasing the best highlights of people's lives, not reality. And yes, while it's totally fine to draw inspiration from others, constantly comparing yourself or seeking validation is not. So, next time you catch yourself scrolling and feeling down, remind yourself that these platforms are just there to create a false illusion of perfection that does not exist anywhere in reality at all. Next, we have to figure out how to stop relying on others and start validating ourselves. Number 2, shift from external validation to self-validation. Think about it like this. When you rely on other people's approval, you are basically letting others tell you how you should feel about yourself. Get it? It's like giving away your power and letting others decide your worth. Instead, what we should do is try to develop self-validation by building an internal compass. This starts with becoming more self-aware of what really matters to you and letting go of the need for constant praise from others. Number 3, accepting imperfection. We are all imperfect people in an imperfect world. We hear it all the time. Nobody's perfect. But do we actually believe it? If we did, why do we still treat some celebrities like they've got it all figured out, and then try to compare ourselves to them? Listen, accepting imperfection is the key to self-validation. Instead of trying to fit a non-existent version of perfection, why not focus on personal growth? Why not prioritize authenticity? After all, we are all imperfect people in an imperfect world. Flaws are okay. They're what makes us human. So, stop wasting energy trying to meet an unrealistic standard. Just focus on being the best version of you. You do not need to be perfect to be happy or worthy. By the way, are you finding our tips helpful? I've got so much more content coming your way. It's all completely free, and all I ask is for you to hit that subscribe button. Simple, right? Just subscribe, and you'll never miss out on content that's worth so much but costs you nothing. Getting back to the topic, let's talk about relationships and how constantly seeking validation can really mess them up. Number 4, detaching from validation in relationships. Needing constant approval or reassurance from others can totally mess up your relationships. The thing is, if you're always fishing for validation, relationships start getting unhealthy and toxic. For example, Sarah frequently asked her boyfriend if she looked good or made the right choices, seeking his reassurance for everything. At first, he reassured her, but over time, he felt emotionally frustrated and distanced himself, leading to their breakup. If you have low self-worth, it leads to unsatisfying relationships. You put too much pressure on others to always make you feel good about yourself, and that's how you send them running for the hills. Focus on building a stronger sense of self-worth, and you will watch your relationships thrive. And this applies to all relationships. Whether it's with friends, romantic partners, or work, people are always more likely to respect you when you have confidence in yourself, rather than always asking for their approval. When you stop seeking approval from others in relationships, you gain something even more valuable: freedom to focus on your own growth. And that's where our next point comes in. Number 5, competing only with yourself. Remember that video we did about stopping comparison with others? Instead of competing against other people, you should only compete with who you were yesterday. Using others as inspiration is okay, but don't use them as validation for your self-worth. The key is to compete solely with your former self and not against anyone else. That's the healthiest mindset for personal growth without the toxic need for external validation. To wrap it up, social media likes, hearts, upvotes, whatever you call them, only give temporary validation. Real self-worth comes from within, not from others. Accepting your flaws and imperfections is so freeing. Be kind to yourself, celebrate the unique person you are, and keep growing. After all, social media highs often leave us feeling empty, while true joy comes from self-validation. And if you want to keep growing mentally and emotionally, the next step is simply watch our video on stopping comparison. It'll give you even more insight into how to break free from those pressures. Leave a like on your way out, and I'll catch you over there.